Detroit Den 313. We're back. Stephen Will talking that Detroit Lions football. Before we get started, you know what to do. Blast, bang, hammer, um, punch, whatever you got to do.
Bang it.
The subscribe,
Bang
yeah,
it.
bang the subscribe button. Thrust it. I don't know. Whatever you got to do. Hit that. Hit that subscribe button, man. Don't forget that bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. Steve, I'm still riding an emotional high, man, off this draft. What the heck are we about to talk about? What's going on?
Well, first things first, whoever decides to thrust the subscribe button, please send a picture. I'd like to know how that exactly works. But
Hey, this
we're
is
just gonna
chill out.
we're still getting into some draft stuff. The draft's over. We're gonna be going over, just some questions, some scenarios, some expectations, what's going on with the city, that kind of stuff. We're obviously going to mention some prospects. We're going to mention some players, but we don't really have a script for tonight. We're just kind of going with the flow. Two guys like we're sitting at a bar having a beer talking football. That's what we do sometimes. So I told you that I was just kind of, scrolling through Twitter, and I noticed some articles from like NFL.com, CBS. They were all like grading the Lions draft. I think the lowest grade was like a B- from like CBS Sports. Screw those guys. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Stupid, but whatever. Fox Sports, same thing. But I think the lowest grade was a B-. Now I gave the draft an A. And I don't like grading drafts because these guys are not proven players, but it just kind of felt like in the time, the heat of the moment, that's what we did. You gave it a B+, I believe.
B+.
So, William, now that the draft is over, and I don't want to say our roster is set because we still have some undrafted free agent guys that we talked about yesterday that are coming in. They're going to be competing for jobs. So I don't think our roster is quote unquote set. But how do you feel about all this outside chatter? Some pressure. Do you think the Detroit Lions are feeling any type of pressure?
No, not at all. I think the Lions are feeling zero pressure. I think that we're a team that follows the lead of our head coach, which is the bottom line. We go out there, we play hard, we play tough, we play gritty, we do our absolute best, and we let the chips fall where they may after that. So I don't think that there's any pressure in that. I don't think that what we do is outcome based. I think what we do is based on doing our best, having an effort, playing the game the right way, playing the game how it's supposed to be played. So when you do that, I don't think that there's any pressure involved at all. But what I do believe is Detroit is on fire right now. I'll be honest. My phone has been going absolutely crazy since the day before the draft and still today. One, I got to give everybody who's supporting us their flowers first. Um, our episodes have been just banging, and we thank you guys for that. It's humbling and it's awesome. On top of that, the city has just been, everybody showed up and showed out for the draft. It was record breaking. They're talking about doing all types of things here in Detroit now. Shout out to all of our public servants. They were everywhere. Police everywhere, firefighters, everybody. Like it was just crazy how they handled the situation. It was awesome. But I think it's leading to the buzz around the Detroit Lions being like I've never seen it before. I felt like we were kind of an underdog story last year. It was like, man, the Detroit Lions are coming, man. Could they do it? I think they got a chance now to be a good team. Now it's like, we're a good team, and you guys better keep being a good team. The expectations now is the Super Bowl from a casual fan. Casual fans and SOLs, same old Lions fans, are even talking about us in Super Bowl lights now. Like, hey, man, even though I kind of got some pessimistic things that I'm still saying under my breath, if they don't win a Super Bowl, they suck. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that, Steve. And that's really what I want to lead you into. I guess that's my question for you. Going into next season now, taking back the new hats that we're trying to put on as far as like being content creators, being journalists, being people that talk about our team and try to toe the line and give factual and only opinion-based information when it calls for. As a fan, how do you feel going into next season? Are you expecting a Super Bowl? Are you, how do you feel?
Here's the deal. When I look at the Lions, I look at our offseason. We didn't get worse. We got better. But that doesn't guarantee that just because you got to the NFC Championship game last year, it doesn't guarantee that you're getting back. Like, you still got to put the work in. And the Lions aren't sneaking up on anyone anymore. You know, in 2022, started 1-6, made some noise at the end of the season, fumbled the Carolina game, needed a little help to get into the playoffs, but we went into week 17 with something to still kind of play for.
Mhm.
And we knocked off Green Bay, even knowing that we weren't making the playoffs. I think right there, going into the 2023 season, that's when everyone started saying, oh, you know, Detroit could, you know, get into the wild card and maybe win the division. Division's down a little bit this year. I'm looking at the division now, and I think all of the teams in the division, including the Lions, got better. I have some questions about Minnesota. I don't know about them. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I think, you know, the Bears addressed some issues. They got their franchise quarterback, franchise wide receiver. They made some moves to add another receiver in Keenan Allen.
Mhm.
You know, it's going to be a tough division. All draft. What I was listening to on the TV was how the NFC North might be the best division in football, and being the defending champs, you know, it's going to be hard to get back to where we were. And
Yeah.
that we're playing a first place schedule. Do we have a coach and a GM who can guide us through those rough waters? Yeah, we do. I'm confident in that. But I'm not just saying, oh man, we just got to show up and win on Sundays. That's not where we are. I do think we got significantly better. We didn't lose anyone. Like, we lost Jonah Jackson, but I would say Kevin Zeitler's an improvement and an upgrade.
Mhm.
Older, but I think he's still fully capable. Our draft, love our draft, ugly draft in a good way. So my expectations and excitement as a fan is through the roof. Like, I'm sitting here and I've said before, like, I just want to fast forward spring. I want to fast forward summer. I want to get to late August, early September. I want to be at a tailgate outside of Ford Field and get ready for some football games.
Yeah, man. I'm with you there. Only thing is, I did say something last episode that I did say that if I could fast forward to the season, I might do that. But now, when I think about this bloodbath that Brad Holmes was talking about, I kind of want to get a little bit of that first. Kind of want to witness a little bit of that. Shout out to one of the coaches on the staff with me, man. One of the high school coaches, Chance Persandic, man. He asked me a question today. He asked me, who do I think is going to be the starting secondary for the Detroit Lions going into week 1? And I thought that was an awesome question, man.
Good question. Very good question.
Yeah, that was a good question, man. So I gotta give you your flowers, man. But I thought about that, man, and I truly believe that we might see Carlton Davis.
Okay. I think I know where you might be going.
I think we might see Kirby Joseph.
Mhm.
I think we might see Ife Melifonwu.
Okay.
I think on that nickel position, we're going to see Brian Branch.
Mhm.
And I think that there is a superstar that has came to town.
Okay.
I think that the city responded when he was selected number 24 overall. I think that his charisma, I think that his personality, I think that his energy, I think that his moxie has already been infectious. And it's going to go along with his play. And I think that you just may see Terry and Arnold at that number 2 corner position. And I think that we might have a guy. Hutch is the face of the Detroit Lions. Like, I know Jared Goff is a quarterback and he's doing a good job or whatever, but Hutch has been the face of the Detroit Lions. Hometown kid, great story, pro's pro. But Terry and Arnold is somebody who he talks a lot about primetime Deion Sanders and what primetime did on the field, his energy, his moxie, the way he plays the game, the way he talked that talk, the way that he was just a superstar. Terry and Arnold gives me some of those vibes. He was a guy who was running around telling people that he should have got a scholarship to the University of Kentucky to play basketball. Right? That's the type of energy that he came into the University of Alabama with. He told Detroit Lions, he said, "Hey man, you guys got a star." I think that
confidence is through the roof.
his confidence is through the roof. His own players. I was telling people before the draft, I was arguing about Kool-Aid and Terry and Arnold. John Ellison, shout out to you, man. I was arguing with him and his buddy about, hey, Terry and Arnold, Kool-Aid. And I said it here and you guys were hammering me. Shame on you. I said, Terry and Arnold is the best cornerback on his team. Why are we trying to draft the second best cornerback on Alabama's team? Right.
Well, because he has a cool name.
Yeah, right. So we're drinking the Kool-Aid or whatever, you know what I mean? Which, no shade, guys. I get it. It's opinion based, but I think we drafted a star, and I think a star will be born in Detroit, and that's where I see that secondary week 1. with some absolute animals coming off the bench. Animals, man. Amik Roberson coming off the bench. Animal, man. Emmanuel Mosley coming off the bench. Animal. And I mean, there's so many things that it could lead to going into this season, Steve. So another thing I thought about, I already talked about this blitzing. We could just blitz like crazy, man up, lockdown, blitz, bring those extra, take some safeties off the field, bring the corners in and blitz. But another thing, for a team that's competing, has a cornerback go down, who do you think they're going to call? They're going to call Brad and say, hey, man, I know you guys I didn't even mention Ennis Rakestraw.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, I know you guys got corners for days. Right? You think maybe we could work something out, man? Maybe we could, maybe for some draft equity, maybe for a player, maybe can we work something out, please? So I just think that the Detroit Lions are in a phenomenal position. Shout out to Brad for taking a weakness and making it not even a strength. I don't even know what you call it, man. It's like
we got a lot of options.
We got options for days, man. Good problems to have. So
we talked about moving Brian Branch to safety potentially. Like, if one of those guys get banged up, Iffy or Kirby, like you just put him back there. He stays on the field. You don't have to worry about taking him off when you're not in a nickel set. So there's options, man. There's so many options. And I was listening to 97.
Hold on. Before you go, I just want to know, before you change it, do you agree with that secondary, or would you sub anybody in or out?
Not day one. I think Roberson's the day one. Week 7, we might have a conversation.
I get it.
We might have a conversation, unless these bloodbaths of training camp days, if you're just hearing nothing but good things. And here's the thing about training camp is sometimes I got to see it for myself.
Yeah.
Because I know they're never going to say anything. They're never going to come out and say, oh, man, yeah, he didn't look too good today. Terrion Arnold didn't have a good practice. They're never going to say that. So if I don't see it for myself, I kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like, okay, that's what a professional should do. They're not going to throw their guys under the bus. They're not going to say things like that. But if I go up there and he's sticking to receivers like glue and he's all over the place, making plays throughout training camp, throughout preseason games. Yeah. Like Brian Branch, and he forces himself onto the field. That's another situation. But day one, I think it's going to be Amik Robertson at cornerback too. And that probably will change like halfway through the season if Terrion Arnold's playing out of his mind.
Yeah. It could very well be correct. I agree. We'll see.
Good question, though. I like that question. Yeah. See, we need you guys to leave some questions in the comments, because sometimes we like to talk about this stuff and we just kind of put a little spin on it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're doing tonight. So like I said, I was listening to 97.1 today because I wanted to hear John Jansen. I wanted to hear him talk about these offensive linemen we took, Giovanni Manu and Christian Mahogany. I wanted to hear his input because those are two of the most interesting picks for me in this draft.
Okay.
And he said he loved the Mahogany pick. Value was there in the 3rd round. He slid to 6 somehow. Like I said, Brad kind of hinted it. There was something he found, and I still don't know what it was, and I'm not even digging to find it. But he said that it wasn't a concern. And then he was talking about Giovanni Manu, and he said, the only thing I don't like on his tape was that he's a good guard, but he's not good at pulling. And I was like, okay, John Jansen, 1997 national champion, played in the NFL. Like, this guy's going to know. I'm going to take his word for it. So it just got me thinking, like, if that's the only thing that he's knocking Giovanni Manu for, like, I think we got a stud. I think we got our tackle for the next 8 to 10 years once he's ready, not right away. But, yeah, I'm just excited. Like, I just can't wait for football, William. I just can't. Like, the Tigers are great. They're doing great. I just need it to be football season.
Yeah, I agree, man. I did not hear that from Jansen, man. And obviously I respect his opinion. I got so many questions, man. Like, it just immediately made my wheels start turning. Like, are we talking about skip pulls? Are we talking about pulling down the line and kicking out defensive ends? Like, what are we talking about?
He was very vague. He just kind of said pulling.
Yeah, I wonder, man. It just, and then those are the guys I wish I could talk to, because when you start talking about the intricacies of technique, man, and what we do, I just wonder, how he's going to fit. Is it something that he can work on? Is it something, because the dude ran a 4.9, he looks supremely athletic. So him having a problem pulling would have been something that I would have never thought would have been an issue. So I wonder, is it a mobility thing? Is it like, what is the issues with him pulling? Just what is that going to look like moving forward? Does that mean his path is long? I just got questions, man. You know how it is.
And also, someone called in and asked, do you have any concerns about the competition that Giovanni Manu played? Because in his tape, it looked like he was going against middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Well, he's 6'8", 350 pounds. He's going to make quite a few human beings look like middle schoolers. Like, probably not in the NFL, but the guy is never going to be outsized. Like,
Hey,
I'm not worried about that.
bigger than Joe Alt.
Yeah, like if he just
What are we talking about?
if he just learns the techniques,
Man,
masters his craft, like I think he'll be fine. But just that pulling thing, it doesn't seem like to me that's anything to really be concerned about. But and then the Christian Mahogany, like I love that pick. I think he's going to be in that mix too, in that bloodbath. Like he's going to be competing with Swordsdal and Coyote Awasika, and where's he going to fit in? It's going to be interesting. I'm excited.
Steve, we talked about it a little bit, but now that it's had time to sink in a little bit. Favorite pick of the draft, not named Terrion Arnold.
You're stealing my thunder because I told you I had a rapid fire for you.
I apologize. I apologize.
So my ears are red because I'm kind of getting pissed. But I'll say my favorite pick is probably the Christian Mahogany pick, just because it kind of shores up two positions on the offensive line. I don't think he's playing center, but I think if something happens to Frank, you can slide Graham over to center, put him at guard, either guard.
Mm-hmm.
You can mix and match him a little bit. That's probably my favorite pick because, like I said, we had talked about him being picked in like the second round.
Yeah.
So we got a second round talent in the sixth round. I think that's phenomenal value.
Yep.
William, are you ready?
For a rapid fire?
Yeah. Even though
I forgot about we were doing that, man.
No.
So actually, I'm a little nervous, man.
You know the rules.
I don't know the rules.
You do not get to explain. You just get to give an answer. But I'm feeling pretty generous today. Okay. I will let you use the same player twice.
Oh God.
So yeah. So 5 questions. Favorite pick of this year's draft?
Oh man, that's the easiest question you could have asked me.
Layup. Give me a layup.
Terrion Arnold.
Okay.
Can't believe he slid into my hands like a little Christmas present.
Biggest upside?
Manu. What are we talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, Manu. Without a doubt, he could turn into the best offensive lineman of this draft class. He could end up just being average. He could end up a bust. But I think with his physical traits, man, he could end up being a guy that starts for the Detroit Lions for a decade. And we got him, late in the draft or in the middle of the draft. And it just ends up being special,
Biggest concern?
Biggest concern with the draft or the team?
The picks. Biggest
with the picks?
About a player selected.
Ooh, man. And this
is layup, son.
Yeah, well, can I say that I don't have concerns?
Nope. You have to have a concern.
Because to be quite honest, I mean, I guess I could try to find one.
Okay. Want me to give you my answer?
No, I'll say this. Wingo would be my biggest concern, and if you don't want me to explain it, I'll just leave it at that. But
you can explain. I'll let you explain the biggest upside, so you can explain your biggest concern.
Wingo would only be a concern to me because of his hand size and arm length. I know he's twitchy, but is he a guy that can get it done? So, because everybody else in this draft, and I even like Wingo, especially for the value and the spot that we got him, but he's the only one that I truly have concerns about, because in my heart of hearts, I don't believe that Manu is going to be a bust. So that's not even a concern to me. So Wingo would be my biggest concern for those reasons. He doesn't fit the physical characteristics of somebody that's going to be an edge rusher or somebody that's going to be able to create separation at the defensive line position at DT. And he's kind of in that hybrid lane of, is he a DT? Is he an end? He took some snaps at LSU at end. So will he be a guy that just kind of blends in? He's a rotational piece that doesn't do much more than that.
Just real quick, I will say that Giovanni Manu, I always want to say Manu Ginobili because I'm still not over the 2005 NBA Finals. So if I ever say that, I ask for immediate forgiveness. 4th question, who makes the biggest impact?
Layup. Are we talking immediately? Are we talking about throughout their career? Like, what are we talking about?
We'll say throughout the next season.
Throughout the next season, it'll be Terrion Arnold.
Too easy. Oh. All right. Last question. No more layups. Sir. We're going back to the half court. You got to make your shot here.
Let's go.
Least favorite pick of this year's draft?
Wingo.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of easy because you kind of tipped your hand.
Yeah, Wingo. And hey, that's not to say that I don't like it. I like it, man. And I hope that he pans out to be what they think that he's going to be, which I think that he's going to give us a little bit of edge assistance. That's where I'm looking for him to give assistance, man. That twitchiness that he has, I think that that's going to offer something. And then he's next to DJ Reader or Aleem McNeil, getting one-on-one or getting a running back. Good night.
Some type of NASCAR package.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, man. Like if a running back's trying to get him, and because they're too worried about DJ Reader just causing a chaos.
Yeah, buddy, I'm ready for training camp.
Need it.
That's when football season starts for me, is training camp. Like these next 6 weeks are going to be a little tough to get through. I know we got the schedule coming up, but unless there's some news going out, we need some we need some football in our lives. But guys, we just got on here to do a little draft recap, kind of in a way. We're not really talking like a breakdown of every pick. We just wanted to kind of talk about some expectations that are being put out there by the mainstream media. Fox Sports, CBS, PFF, all those guys loving the Lions draft. But like I said in the beginning, just because you got to the NFC Championship doesn't mean you just got to show up and you end up at the NFC Championship again. You still got to put the work in. Roster got better. So did a lot of other people's of the NFL. So leave some comments down below. Leave some questions. Like I said, we'll try to sprinkle it, twist it into some type of episode if we can. Hit that like button. If you're new here, stick around, subscribe. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.